Testing 1, 2. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, God. Now let's see if I'm going to add Erica. Hey!
That's my best friend. Hey.
What's up, y'all?
What up?
We did it. We made this shit pop. For real.
Right.
Girl, not that I'm still putting on earrings on camera. Yo, what's up, everyone? I feel like I'm yelling right into this microphone. What's good, everyone? Welcome to the preseason live for All4One Season 2. Dopes.
How they doing?
Yeah. What's tea? Yo, we've been so excited. This is like all we've been able to like talk about and focus on for weeks now. So excited for this to finally kind of be here. We're doing it. So
yeah. Took some time to get here, but we're back. We are.
It took a little while. I mean, it's been what, a little over a year now, and no, I think it was needed though. Like a lot happened.
A whole lot. A lot has happened, but we've also grown since then. So
yeah,
that's the good thing about it. We weren't just not doing anything.
True tea. I mean, let's unpack that. So I kind of wanted this to kind of be, at least the way I thought about it, kind of be almost therapeutic in a sense. I think there's a lot that has happened to us individually and as a group that we kind of just went roll with the punches and just kind of go with it and didn't really unpack it and kind of understand or feel what we were going through. So just kind of want to take a second to unpack that. This past year, I mean, who wants to start? Because I know we all got a minute. We got a few stories.
I think we should introduce ourselves first.
That's probably a good idea because not everyone's been here before. So I'm MJ.
I'm Erica. I'm Carrie.
I'm Yale from mine. And we are All4One.
All4One. The new and improved All4One.
The new and improved All4One. I mean, baby, we polished, girl. We have microphones. There's microphones and things. There's promo art and intro videos and things, baby girl.
Get into it. Me.
She's giving you what needs to be given. We're doing what needs to be done.
Right. So one of the things that we did, I would say, within the year, we made the decision that member decided to leave the group. And we definitely wish her the best as well.
Yeah.
And we also had this best friend that just fit perfectly. So we asked him to be a part of it as well. So I feel like he's going to be an amazing asset to the group at this point.
Yeah, Yale has always been in the picture. I mean, he was our behind person for our first season, doing all of our editing and stuff like that. And so, you know, he's just always been a natural fit. And so I'm excited to have Yale finally like on cast and
definitely. He's like my big brother and y'all's little brother. So the perfect fit. Right. It really was, honestly. Like, he just brings a whole new energy to everything that we talk about. So, thank you. And we're so glad that you're here.
And I'm happy to be here. I wish we were all together.
I know. This is a little different. I mean, that's something else that's changed. I mean, we came from cramming ourselves on this one couch.
On this one couch that everybody talk about.
Girl! Can we just acknowledge for a minute how they used to wear us out about
girl? Oh, and just the FYI, I bought a new couch.
Oh, period. And she's sickening. She's cute. They used to wear us out by that couch, baby.
They really did. Baby.
But no, so yeah, I mean that's different now that we're kind of filming apart, but I feel like this is a really cool platform, and I like this because it kind of gives us the ability to film from wherever we are, because I know we have a lot going on individually. So this is dope. I like it.
Right.
Yeah. While we're talking about all the stuff that's going on, I kind of want to like backtrack to the year that we've had. I want to start with Yale, just because I feel like Yale had a really, really eventful 2020. Because every time I turned around, that man was posting some real interesting content. Because he was in, for those who don't know,
real hood rat shit.
Baby, that man was in the front line. He was in the front line catching all of that. But yeah, like Yale was out on the front lines, in the protests during all the Black Lives Matter protests that was going on, and yeah, talk a little bit about that, Eo. Like, that was dope. I have to give you some props for that, because I kind of felt a little guilty about not putting myself out there when everything was going on. So I definitely admire you for doing that. Talk a little bit about that.
I mean, a lot of people feel that way, especially when I would bring it up in conversations. You know, there'd be a lot of people who would eventually be like, oh, well, okay, well, I can't go out there and because of my job or whatever reason they had come up with as to why they couldn't be out there protesting. And I was like, that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's not for everybody. This, like, the type of energy that, that you feel and happens when you're at a protest, it's like, it's like being on a set of a movie that they never cut. Like, it's just insane, because it's like things that you see from other countries, or you see, from outside looking in on a Facebook post or something like that, but then like you're there. I'm born and raised in Puerto Rico, and the most protesting that they do is against our it's kind of basically the same thing. It's just our governors and our mayors and stuff like that. And most recently, within the last year, every single Puerto Rican took to the streets to get rid of one of, this governor who was just really one of the worst things that had to happen to Puerto Rico. But I've never seen stuff like that firsthand. So the first day that I was out there was like the worst one out of all of them. It was in downtown Jacksonville, and they were doing a peaceful protest, and there was at least 10,000 people. Like, that was the biggest one of all the Jacksonville protests that ever went down, and they called in everybody that you can think of that they had on payroll. Everybody got called out, and they had military response and SWAT and all that stuff out there. By the end of the day, everybody was getting tear gas, bombed, pepper spray, arrested, hit with the water cannons off the SWAT cars, the trucks and stuff like that. It was insane, and I captured the moment where everything escalated. Between police and protesters, because police agitated the situation. Everybody was just protesting and marching, and they decided to start blocking off streets, chasing after people who were just protesting and walking along the streets, and trying to arrest them on the spot. They tried assaulting women, and a lot of people would just try to intervene to protect the women that were there, who were just getting grabbed and manhandled by these men. And yeah, it was intense. It was definitely something that is not for everybody. You don't take your kids to a protest. It's just not a space where, especially as after a certain time things are gonna get a certain way. You just don't do that. And but it's not for everybody, so I don't get it. I'm not mad at anybody who just couldn't make it to a protest or whatever like that. But you can still protest in your own personal way, in whatever way you see fit, as long as you're safe. And that's the most important part, is just being safe.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Yale for a second. He'll jump back in the stream. But
well, the big thing more than anything is I applaud him for actually just
stepping up and being on the front line, because
For
you know it
real.
takes a strong individual to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely not that person.
You gotta
Like
show
I can be the
mentally.
person to have that conversation and talk with people about it and just express my opinions and you know do whatever I can as far as putting content on social media. But being out there on the front line, I think I was definitely scared to be out there to just even experience it and just hearing the stories and watching the videos and stuff. Sorry, I'm not that person.
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
Yeah, a lot of like not even you know, even my family members, none of my siblings ended up going, even though I was out there every day. You know, it's so I don't hold it against nobody. It's just something that's really intense, and it's also one of those things where it's like you have to think about the position that you put yourself in as a black trans person.
I was gonna ask that.
So, um, you know, you just have to like figure out your position and just feeling comfortable in being in a space like that. It's
Right,
different. Like there's different dynamics to every situation and every decision that you make.
right.
Yeah.
It's funny you touch on that because I was going to ask you that. I'm like, 'cause I saw a lot of like feedback about that on social media with everyone that that I follow that's trans and with all the trans men and trans women within my social media circles, where there was a lot of conflict about how people felt about participating in Black Lives Matter movements and being a black person or person of color and a trans person where that intersectionality wasn't being recognized
Right.
as on a whole by that movement. How did you feel like going into those spaces and not only just going into those spaces but being on the front line of those spaces and recording what was going on in those spaces as a trans person of color going into these spaces? How does that make you feel? Like, what made you make that decision to like go forward and say, hey, I'm going to do this because it's important?
Well, one of the things is like I use my privilege to kind of like be in that space because I am cis passing. So it wasn't like, I wasn't out there wearing any like trans attire or anything like that. Because at the same time, it's like, as I am out there, I also have to remember not only police are out there, but like alt right, extremists are out there. So while there's so many people, so much commotion, so much going on, you can be easily become a target in the crowd. And I wasn't trying to put no, big old target sign on me to come get me. So I would just go out there in a t-shirt, some jeans, a mask, and some tennis shoes, so I could run from police whenever shit got real. And
Okay.
but like after a couple of days, my wardrobe changed because police started taking pictures and taking video off the internet and stuff like that to try to find people and arrest them for protesting.
So they were really doing that.
Yeah, they were actually tracking people through social media and the posts that people were making to see who attacked who, what cop attacked who, to find these people and file charges and stuff like that. But because of all of that, I kind of just went incognito the entire time that I ever went to protest,
Mhm.
and it also gave me.
Uh-oh.
Oh wow.
Well, while he's working on his video, I wanted to take a pause because he used the word, and I know not all of our viewers are trans identified or have a lot of interactions with the trans community, and so he cis passing, meaning that within his physical appearance that he can pass for being a cisgender male in
Sorry
his
about
identity.
that.
So that's what
The
cis passing.
website keeps loading every
I
few
think I kind of
minutes,
struggled
but
with the whole Black Lives Movement experience because, like, I understand the movement and I'm all here for the movement, but when it comes to trans lives, I feel like a lot of times we're not really, when it's talked about, we're not really included in that movement. So it's like when it comes to trans lives matter, I feel like a lot of times when it comes to comparing that to the Black Lives Movement, it's like how can I support the black man when there's a high percentage of black men killing us? And that's where, for me, I kind of draw like that fine line between it. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't, it's kind of hard for me to have that conversation with people because of that. It's like, I'm supposed to support the black man. And I understand the movement. Don't get me wrong. I understand the movement and I respect the movement. But it's like, how can I support the same person that's killing us? Like, how does that work?
No, I get that. And I saw that a lot of that back and forth was on social media about, okay, so I am, a person of color, or I'm a black person. And, what's going on applies to me too. But these same people or these same men, but let's just be honest, let's be transparent, these same black men are who are killing us at increasing rates year over year.
Yeah.
I just think that the progress would actually work better if we actually work within our own community first. Let's fix our community first, and then we can fight these other battles.
Since we preach into the choir, because we've said that many times, many of other people said it many times, but the community just not here for us.
Well, let's unpack that. What do you mean by
we gotta be here for ourselves, sis.
What do you mean by fix our own problems in our community? Like unpack that.
Like I just feel like when it comes to our community, I feel like we discriminate against ourselves in our own community. Like we separated, we're divided, and like especially in the black community. Like it just seems like when it comes to cisgender, heterosexual people, and then you have gays and you have lesbians and you have trans, it's like we're all separate a lot of times and we're all divided. When I feel like, and a lot of people don't understand, is that if we come together, we could be even more powerful. But it's like, how can you cast us out in certain situations, but we work in other situations? It's like you want us to support the Black Lives Movement, but you don't support the trans community. Like, how can you discriminate against the trans community, but you want us to support you? Like, I don't understand that part of it.
So, I mean, and I get that, and I agree. I think that there is definitely, like, we're human, and so I get why that would be an internal conflict. I guess for me, my focus was more so, and I guess we're kind of doing that by doing the show. My focus more so like, how do we fix that? Because at the end of the day, whether or not we're in this impasse where our members of our own community, our own black community, are killing us, we're still being attacked and hunted by police.
But I think that we're actually doing what we need to do as far as playing our part, because I feel like having that conversation, I think helps a lot of people, because us getting on here on camera and actually identifying as trans people and telling our stories and having those conversations, and we actually have not only trans gay, we also have heterosexual people, cisgender people on here too, that can really hear our stories. And I feel like listening to our stories and just getting educated plays a part. So I feel like we're already playing our part.
Gotcha. All right. Well, so that we don't get too hung up, I'm gonna move on to Carrie.
Oh.
My girl had a year too.
She was aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, a lot has changed for me. Like, okay, so I got my own place, promotion, all this good stuff, but I've also learned some lessons. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to dig into those right now. You know what I'm saying?
Why not, though?
Girl, because I need to talk to the people throughout the season. I can't get everything in the first episode.
Girl, you can give them a little tea, so you can
girl,
a little tea.
Girl, they seen that I got my own place and I got a promotion.
Yes.
Most of my family didn't even get that.
That girl got a promotion. Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, for real though, like, it was just really more about self-growth, self-discovery. It was really like about self, honestly. I just learned a lot, especially from Erica, MJ, from Yale even, and just watching him with everything that he's been doing lately is really an inspiration. So being the youngest of the group, I couldn't slack, so I had to work hard and to keep up with them,
And you did the damn thing for real.
And I'm proud of you.
You really have.
You've been doing the really good job.
Yes, God. I mean, Erica has two low pieces because you were promoted too.
Period. Mr. Mamas.
Yeah, I got promoted. Hopefully, I'm working on another one.
Period.
Come on,
so we'll see where that goes. But I think all of us have just really done a lot, like in this past year. So I definitely see the progress in all of us. Like I'm happy with MJ. She got a new position at work. That girl got her new job making those. And I got a promotion at work, and I'm trying to work on my second one. I got in a relationship that's going amazing.
But she just slid that in there, girl. She slid that in there real slick, like.
I live.
It's been one of the best relationships I ever been in. So
I got in one too. It is with a girl. Like, oh.
Can we get into that for a second?
Right. Come on, relationship.
Child, listen.
Can we talk about the gag that was in the group chat?
Child.
In the group chat.
Child, listen. Gagged me.
Baby, listen, I had to restart my phone, girl, and had reopened up the text just to make sure that girl wouldn't have tripped or something. I said, a girlfriend.
Yes. It caught us all about. We was like, well, we need pics. But we need receipts. You can't just tell us something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's been going pretty well though.
That's good.
It is.
That's good. But no, for this same for me, like this year was a lot. So after leaving, so I left Texas. After our first season, I had left Texas for October, and got brought on board with a nonprofit where I was doing really amazing work, and I loved it, and even got to do some work for the trans community via vis-a-vis this organization, and so that was really great. Also moved into my own place when I went back home, and everything like that. And child, I think my biggest thing was I traveled so much last year. I mean,
girl,
she
stay flew out.
That girl
you came to see us like every other month.
Girl, she was a city girl.
She was flew out.
I think in the first 6 months of my lease, I think I was in my apartment maybe 2 of those months, maybe. The first 6 months of my lease. So yeah, I was here. I went to Florida. Spending that Christmas with my brother and my jelly bean. My jelly bean is so cute. I just want y'all to know that in one of the future episodes, I'll definitely be sharing snippets.
You know that's my best friend,
girl,
so I don't even care.
Those are not the older people you spend time with, girl, during this hiatus.
What do you mean? Who else I saw? I went to you and Carrie. I went to Florida. Oh, girl. That girl is so messy. Y'all, you know what? It be your own best friends, y'all.
No, because I thought it was a really cute moment, though. Like, I feel like y'all had a good time.
And we're still pretty good friends. We're actually still really good friends. So I was talking to this guy he will remain nameless because I'm not getting permission to release his name prior to this live. But I was talking to this guy around like June through like September, October. No, September. And it was awesome. Like, yeah, I went to go see him like 3 times. So he lived all the way like in the Midwest. And
okay, girl. I would say not too much, girl.
Not too much.
Don't give the people too much.
He lived all the way in the Midwest, and I lived in DC. And so I went to go see him a few times, and he made my birthday really special, which is really nice because I had that happen in a while. So that was really nice. But yeah,
it was dope.
It was really cute. It was a really cute moment for y'all.
It was.
But yeah, so now we're back in Texas, and it was one of those kind of things. So we took the year, we did what we had to do for ourselves. We did a lot of soul searching. I know I did a lot of personal development in this past year. I don't know doing it. But that whole what happened, yeah?
I'm still doing it.
That part.
Listen.
Very much that.
We all are.
Yeah.
Because I'm still trying to fight some demons.
Yeah.
Girl, all of us. Definitely a few.
But yeah, just that this year, or taking that year, kind of helped me understand what I wanted, what I needed, what my boundaries were. The people who were important to me. And yeah, I don't know, like 2020, to be honest, it was a really bad year for everyone. And 2020 had its moments for me, but 2020 was actually not that bad of a year for me, to be honest.
It wasn't.
It honestly wasn't. I kind of feel bad for the rest of the world who was going through it, but it honestly wasn't that bad for me.
Yeah, my dad passed away. But it wasn't a bad thing, honestly. Like I feel like after he passed away, it was kind of like my closure. But then I also felt like emotionally, it just allowed me to look at men differently. Like just looking at my history with him, I look at men a lot different now. And I think I'm more open to
That was
trusting
such a
men.
curveball.
Like I felt like the main person that I didn't trust and that I didn't have a relationship with, like I think it caused so much damage throughout the years because it's like I never really had the opportunity to have a relationship with him. And that was like the only man that I can honestly say that I loved, that I wanted to have a relationship with, that I couldn't. I think everybody else dealing with the relationships that I've been in, it was so easy for me to let that go. I was just like, it is what it is. But this was that one person that I held on to for so long. No matter what he did to me, I still stayed around. And it's like after he passed away and that ended, it allowed me to look at men completely different now. And I think now I'm more open to trusting and being in relationships and being in love with men now.
That makes sense. Well, that would make sense as to why your relationship is going so well. It sounds like like that's still a lot.
Baby, because these exes,
Yeah. Girl,
and I ain't gonna put no names on it, but thank y'all, because I've learned
I ain't got no exes.
Well.
I don't
Ain't it real ghetto though?
Child, listen, I ain't gonna say nothing.
Girl,
I've never been in a relationship.
She gonna get on this camera and sit all this tea, girl. What you not gonna say, sis?
Right, girl, let's talk about it.
Girl, get into her.
Now we gotta get into it because when I met Carrie, she was like she ain't never had a boyfriend. That shit changed now.
Yeah.
That shit gold. That's old news.
Say that. And on that note, take it away.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, I had a boyfriend. Yeah.
That's it.
My response gave very much, so he chose violence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, I cannot.
Okay, so I had a boyfriend. It was really good. Honestly, he's a really great guy. I just feel like we were moving too fast, so we decided to take a break. You know what I'm saying? We went our separate ways. We still keep in contact. You know, we still check up on each other because he's a really great guy. So.
Okay. So what about what's on the horizon? Anything on the horizon for you?
Are there any interests currently?
Girl, ask the question, girl. Why she had... Girl.
I swear to God, y'all messy. Because y'all already know.
We just want to know, sister. Baby, the world want to know.
So, okay. So, yeah, I am talking to somebody now. And let me say this about him.
Okay.
I am very appreciative of him because unlike the last one, when I feel like we were moving too fast, he is very much, no, I want to get to know you first. I want you to be my best friend first. Stuff like that. So we've been hanging out and stuff for the last 2 months. We've been getting to know each other. And it's been amazing. The best experience I've ever had with a guy. So I'm really looking forward to see what the future holds.
Come on, best experience. I'm here for all these best experiences y'all have. And I had no best experience yet. I'm going to just go ahead and
I do have a question now.
Okay, girl. Let's see.
Something that you actually learned, like in your last relationship, that you took with this current situation, and that you're learning to do better at.
Trust a little more.
Okay.
I have to trust a little more. Because, well, first of all, that, and I have to let him be in control sometimes. Because I was always trying to control the situation. I was always trying to be in control. Team Virgo. So I have to let him be the man, be in control, take charge. So that's one of the things that I have learned is to let him take charge and to trust him in decisions he's making.
I'm actually learning more patience. I'm learning more patience, and then also not to be so outspoken, because sometimes I can be real outspoken and it comes out really rude, even though that's not my true intentions. But it's like dating someone with children, and he has amazing children, but it's like being in a relationship with children, so you have to learn patience, and you also have to learn what you say, because that goes a long way. And for a long time, I've had a habit of just saying whatever's on my mind, and it just comes out, and I don't care who it offends. So yeah, that's one thing I'm learning. And I'm still learning, and I'm probably gonna be learning for a while, so don't judge me.
Period.
She gave a disclaimer, so don't expect anything overnight.
Period.
For me, it's a little bit. For me, it's a little bit more like left field because I haven't one dated anybody in 4 years, and then two haven't dated a girl because I've talked to guys mostly, not really dating, mostly just like moments, and it's been different, especially talking to someone who obviously is giving me healthy relationship vibes. I was just like taken aback. Like, like, it was just, there's a lot of things that, I say to her and I expect a certain type of reaction because of the things that I went through with my ex. And she gives me like, oh, well, I'm sorry you felt that way. Like, she'll just say things that I'm just like, okay, like she just says all the right things, and she like affirms me, she motivates me. One of the best examples is this past weekend. It was the first time we were like in a pride space together, and so we celebrate pride together. And I was in my head about still holding on to ounce of masculinity, like fighting between the world of masculine and feminine while I was with her. So even though like I was like outwardly showing that I was having a good time, internally I was having a battle. Like I was just like, you know, is it okay to be this feminine, and like what happens? And I'm learning how to like finally just like stop overthinking situations because I'm with someone who enjoys that side of me, likes that side of me, encourages me to be that person that I want to be. She doesn't tell me to hide parts of myself. If anything, and I tell her, hey, should I like be a little bit masculine if I go into this space with your family or your friends? She's like, no, be who you are. If they don't like it, fuck them. And I'm it's just learning how not to be insecure and overthinking situations because like I'm with someone who I can be safe with, so I have to let myself be safe with that person,
Right.
because she's not them, she's not what I've been through.
Ooh,
I love it.
you better speak.
Okay, and if she's watching this, she better know.
If she watching this, hey boo.
Yes, girl. I'm here for it all.
Well, I don't have any mushy, wonderful romantic stories for you guys, so we're gonna move on. But no,
they want that too. We want that sheet.
I don't know. My focus has just been in other places. I have so with the job I had before I came down to Texas. So I worked with this fence. First of all, let me start with, we all know that it is the luck of a draw sometimes getting a good boss. And so I had a fantastic boss that I worked with. And going into that space with that job in a nonprofit space where we're working grassroots directly in the community, it was an eye-opening experience. I learned a lot in a very short period of time. And it played a big role in my experience over that year, and understanding what I wanted for myself, and understanding that even with just outside the podcast, all the other projects that I'm trying to do, the businesses I'm trying to create resources for other trans people because we need them. And so in all of those things I was trying to do, working with that organization kind of opened my eyes and exposed me to that. And all of my focus is, I want to say all my focus, but the majority of my focus has been on that, just because I've been so inspired and driven to do that. So I mean, I played a role in a lot of the decisions I made. That's why I came back to Texas and left my job, even though I loved it so much. But left my job and trusting that we're creating a space where what we're doing here can be a catalyst for so many other things for our brothers and sisters within our community.
Right. Because I think with that experience that you've had, I think it definitely helped us as far as like wanting to grow in the community. Like with you having that experience, it'll open up a lot of resources, different organizations that we can reach out to. Like you knowing those programs, I think would definitely like just put us in the right place.
Yeah.
Where we need to be.
I mean, end goal, I mean, I'm daring to dream here is, I create my own, or we create our own organization that serves as a resource for trans people, specifically trans people of color, that's serving as a safe space for trans people of color, serving as a networking space for trans people of color. That's another thing that I learned last year. I didn't realize how much of us are entrepreneurs. We are lit. Let's go there. We are really lit because there's a lot of us that are entrepreneurs. I think I follow like at least like 5 or 6 people.
I think that's because I think that stems from where we're not really accepted in the workplace, so we make our own. So that's where that comes from, and I'm here for it. And we need to make our own. So
not only that, it's like even when you do get in those spaces, because I've even felt that and experienced that even when we do get into these spaces, because of who we are and how we present, we don't get access to everything that's included in that space. The same audiences, the same resources, the same opportunities. Even in that space, it's almost like that diversity hire or diversity interview type situation. Like, yeah, I have been subject to that. I was actually just reading a blog the other day where this woman was talking about that she went through, it was for some big tech company. She went through 8 interviews with them for them to turn her down. And she wrote them an email after the last interview. And I mean, in this interviews, they had her do like mock-up work. They had her do a pitch for some of the real life problems that the organization was going through. Basically having her do work for free during the course of these 8 interviews. And that girl, she posted the email in her Facebook post, and she had read them down. As she should. I was
period.
I thought that was so dope. She was like, for you to be the company that you are at the level that you are, for these kind of business practices of wasting someone's time like that, and for the sake of saying that you had a diversity interview or diversity hire or potentially diversity hire, it's inconsiderate and it's completely tasteless. In so many words is what she put. And so, linking that back to our own spaces when we're going into the workspace, professional fields, even as an entrepreneur, and understanding that our value should not and will not be compromised because of who we are. And I hope that we can be that person or those people who can relay that to the people that we're connected to in our community or even outside of our community. That's another thing to kind of highlight, is that this show is not just for people in our community. It's meant to bridge the gap between the people within our community and those who are not.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, all that to say, hopefully that we, by creating this space, we can show people that your self-worth and self-value is something that you set that bar for yourself, that everyone else can get with the program, or they can get lost. And that's jobs included.
Right. Because I feel like I experienced that. And, I talk to y'all about that too, especially in the current job that I'm in. Like, I remember before I got promoted, like, I was already doing the position as an intern. And originally it was only supposed to be for 30 days. And it went from 30 days to 3 months. And I'm just like, hey, what are we doing here? Like, I'm doing this work that you're not paying me for. Like, at this point, I need the title and I need the money. And I felt like I had to work extra hard just to prove myself. And then even at that point in time, I had to like get promoted to another department to feel appreciated.
Right.
And like even in the department that I'm in now, like I feel like I give a lot of energy, but I feel like I can definitely do better. But I also feel like they appreciate the experience that I have, and they use that to their advantage. They're like, okay, Erica knows this. Let's put her in a position where she can develop and she can grow. And I definitely appreciate that now. But it kind of sucks sometimes, especially when you feel like you have to work extra hard just to prove yourself. So instead of going right through the door, honey, I just built my own door.
As you should. Which is basically what they've done now, because what in your position now is like the position you're in, the work you're doing is not even directly tied to that position, but they created that position for you because of the work that you do, how good of work that you do.
Yeah. Like I had to, I was just like, I'm not going to settle anymore. I think I settled. At first I was just comfortable, and then I was like, I'm just not allowing that. Like I'm doing the work that a lot of team leads and team managers are doing. So why not put myself there as a team lead and team manager? And you're going to pay me for it, and you're going to appreciate my work.
Right.
Do you feel like there's ever been opportunities or that you've missed or were passed up on because of your identity or your experience or how you present at
Oh,
work?
absolutely, absolutely. I'm not even gonna say it, but when I first moved to Dallas, my first job that I was working at, I was at that job for almost 5 years, and I had applied for 3 positions, right? And everybody knew that I had the experience, and I applied for 3 positions, and they denied me. And the third position, it was a training position, it was a coordinator position or whatever, and I got interviewed for it, but one of the managers, it just seems like she just was never too fond of me. No matter how much work I did, no matter how much anybody bragged about me, she just didn't care for me at all. And I just remember going for this interview, and then the trainer, she adored me, but she needed like an assistant. So that's the position I applied for. And she came to me one day and she was mad. She was pissed off, and she's like, Erica, I want to sit down and talk to you. And I'm like, okay. She says, well, I just want to let you know that I definitely appreciate your work. And she said, I'm really irritated. She said that they didn't give you that position because I know that you deserved it. And I'm like, well, yeah, they basically told me they didn't give it to me because I didn't have the experience. And she asked me what they told me. And I told her that. And she says, that's a BS. She said, the real reason why they didn't give it to you because they felt like you were going to be a distraction because of me being trans. She said that I was they told her that I would be a distraction because of me being a trans woman, and people wouldn't understand that. So that was their main reason for giving it to me, not giving it to me. But they told me the reason why is because I didn't have enough experience, and I had been there almost 5 years, and I was like, I'm not accepting that. So I applied for another job, and as soon as I got hired, I didn't even give a 2 week notice because I knew I wasn't coming back at that point, and I didn't even give a 2 week notice. On the last day that I was supposed to work, I printed out my letters and I walked around and I passed it to every manager, including the manager that didn't give me the position. I walked right up to her and I put that letter on her desk and I walked out. That was it for me. And I didn't turn back at that point. I was over it.
I feel like I had a similar experience when I was here last time too. If y'all remember when I was here after I left ADT and took that month to find work, I was going on like 4 to 5 interviews a week for weeks at a time, and sometimes making it to second and third interviews to not getting an offer. And honestly, I felt like that's what it was because I knew it wasn't qualifications because I know the qualifications were there. Because I mean, to that point, I went back home to DC and got a job that required higher qualifications than all of those jobs. So I knew it wasn't qualifications, and so you never think as being cis passing, you never think that people can tell. Like there's always that anxiety. At least for me, there's always that anxiety that's there. That's like, am I being clocked at this moment? Like, what about me? Would give it away. But going into these professional spaces, at least for me, and not having to disclose to coworkers, because up until my last 2 jobs, I had never disclosed tea to any of my coworkers before, and so. Going into an interview, I'm not thinking that that's something that's being picked up. And then it's like I'm going to all these interviews and it's going so well. And they're saying how impressed they were, and then that's it. And so, I do think that maybe that plays a role in it because I know the dynamic here is a little bit different in the South than it is me being from the East Coast. So yeah, it's definitely been that experience. But
crazy.
We're moving forward and doing great things now. What do you guys want from the show? Like doing this the second time. We went through all the motions, went through hell and high water, cried, laughed, lived on the edge, and so now we're here. And so what do you guys want from this?
Almost out being friends.
What?
We're not going to walk past that one. We've had our own little beefs amongst each other as well.
Oh, we did. Mm-hmm.
Amongst who?
On that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Amongst who?
I have no recollection to the event in question.
What beef?
What beef? I don't eat beef.
Not his camera dropped out.
I'm a chicken and fish girl. I don't do beef.
I'm a shrimp and lobster girl.
Yeah, what beef were you serving?
I don't do beef. I do experiences.
What's the beef that you're talking about?
I don't know. Let's say the fallout with Jordan, me and Carrie, all of us when we lived together.
I mean, I don't think it's beef. I think we just had experiences and we had disagreements. I mean, at the same time,
well, like
we're all very strong personalities. So when we have so many people it's like us, we're all so strong. We're all so opinionated. We're gonna clash and it's gonna happen. But it also takes strong individuals.
Well, it wasn't like beef,
and then still come together and have a conversation on live.
So let me say this: as far as the situation with me and Eo, I feel like we talked about it and we've moved on. The other situation with the other girl, I'ma just leave that alone. I'm not
with the other girl.
I'm not gonna sit on. I'm gonna keep it cute for the camera.
Like when it comes to it, I just feel like when it came to the brand that we were trying to build, when it comes to Jordan, I don't hate her, but at the same time, I don't really care to have a friendship with her. It is what it is. Like I feel like we went through what we went through. It's over and done with, and we're not gonna keep discussing that on this show anymore. Like that's kind of where I'm at now. Like it's in the past. I wish her the best. I wish her all the success in the world. It is what it is.
But that was
let's move on.
For me, the y'all know, for me, it was more of an indifference. For me personally, when it comes to friendships, I know that there is going to be certain friends you can do certain things with and certain friends you cannot do certain things with. There's certain friends that I can travel with and certain friends I will not travel with. There's certain friends I will do business with and certain friends I will not be doing business with. There's some friends that will know the inner workings of my life, and there's certain friends that will only be social with, and they'll never see me unless we're going out somewhere. And so I get that there's levels to this when it comes to friendships, and that kind of applied to the other girl. That applied to her, whereas it's like, even though she took shots at my character every time there was a falling out, but that's neither here nor there. Even though we had an understanding that, look, when it comes to being held accountable, being responsible for what's going on with the show, understanding what the brand means and contributing to the brand it wasn't there for her. And the thing is, as her friend, I just had to be okay with that. And so I just kind of let it go. And then when we tried the second go round.
But let's be clear though, we tried to separate our friendship from the brand. But to her, the brand was attached to our friendship. So when she decided to disconnect from the brand, she decided to disconnect us.
She decided to disconnect
even though we tried to still have a friendship with her. And it got to the point where she just got distant with us, and then she went on this rant, of course, like she does every 3 to 6 months. And it happened again. And this last time we were just over it. Like, we're not going to keep going in this never-ending cycle that gets nowhere. And then every time we try to have a conversation, it's always our fault. And it's like never no accountability when it comes to her. So at this point, it is what it is. Jordan, we love you. We wish you the best.
Yeah. Forever. Honestly, it's not like you said, Carrie. Honestly, I don't think it's beef. I don't have beef with her. It's just that we learn what we need to learn from that experience.
Carrie is so motherfucking shady.
No, it was an experience. That's it. It's an experience.
Carrie, bro.
And we're moving on.
Carrie said what she said.
And she meant everything.
It's what she didn't say. That's a fucking problem.
So anyway, speaking of experiences, let's talk about our experience on February 1st.
Oh, that was too.
What was that?
United States.
You didn't get to do that with us. I really.
That was
a downer. I wish you had done it with Eo.
Yeah.
Definitely wish.
Shit, ain't nobody call me.
Maybe you were traveling.
It was the timing, honestly, Eo. So this is how it happened. So the producer from United Shades inboxed me on Instagram. And, said that he had gone over our content and was interested in interviewing us or potentially interviewing us for an episode they were doing about trans-identified people, non-binary people in the DFW area, their experiences and things like that. And so we had that initial conversation, and long story short, it snowballed to where we finally had our group call with me and Carrie and Erica. But at this around the same time, literally it was like a day or two right after I got that message, Jordan popped back up and she had reached out to Erica and said, she had been going through some things and had some growth and just had missed our friendship and was interested in making amends. And so around that time is when we made the attempt to make amends, and it just kind of flowed that way because literally it was within days of getting that contact.
But then also remember too
that happened that way is that you didn't get contact because around that time it was just flowed that way.
But even on the meeting that we had with him, though, he told us that he wanted the original 4 girls on the show.
He did.
Like he even said that on the meeting. I think
they would have been fine even if we did switch it out for you and let them know, hey, this is what it is and this is what we're doing. I'm 100% sure they would have been fine with that.
Yeah, because he even said that. He said, y'all are cool with where y'all at. He said, but I would definitely prefer, y'all 4 from watching y'all's videos. I love y'all dynamic. I love to have all 4 of y'all on the show. So then that's when we ended up having that conversation with Jordan. We was just like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? And then after we did the show, she talked about being part of the group. And as soon as she said that, literally 2 days later, she disconnected herself from the group. So it made no sense. We didn't understand.
Right. Yeah. And and like you said, what's done is done. It happened, and she did.
She made her decision.
But the interview was amazing.
It was.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
It was so dope. They had enough cameras on us, though. They had mics and cameras on us the whole entire time we were there.
Broke from the interview and walked off. Thought we were gonna take us a little break, and that man said, "Oh, you're missing good stuff," and they followed us with that
right.
Boom mic.
Because we thought it was a break. So we walked off, and we done forgot that we had the mics on us and everything. We done walked off thinking we was taking a break. And we was over there talking and laughing, and all I see is camera crew and microphones running towards us.
I said, y'all better not boost my head up.
Girl, they ran over there so quick. It was dope, though. It was a dope experience. And then we had 2 photo shoots afterwards. Shout out to Megan Bates, my sister. She did an amazing job on the photo shoot. I love her energy. She got us right on together.
All the promo shots, you guys, if you had been following our socials, all the promo shots that we released leading up to the show were all shot by her. She is an amazing photographer and probably the only one who has really shot that we
see. The people know what's up.
Look,
she did our photo shoot last year too, though.
She did. She's done all
the people's
photo shoot.
I got one.
What you say?
I know y'all see that comment.
We see what Chris said.
The people have spoken.
We see
the people have spoken.
Hey, listen. Sorry.
I'm just a piece of meat. I'm just a piece of meat in the group.
But I mean,
a piece of meat in the group.
Yeah, I'm just a piece of meat in the group.
He's definitely the man meat of the group.
He is. You're definitely you're the guy of the group. You're the one that took out the trash.
That's what take out the trash. No, he the one that all my girlfriends keep asking who that is. Because if I get asked one more time who Yeo is, I get asked about you. More than
Yeo is dope, though.
It's a tie between you and Carrie. I get asked about you or Carrie when I post y'all. I get asked about y'all all the time.
So, best friend, you remember when I had posted on your Snap a few days ago?
Yes, y'all.
All of a sudden, I got like 6 followers in.
Duh. That always happens every time you post to my.
But I didn't put my at name, so you must have given it to them.
I didn't give it to anybody.
Girl,
I don't know, girl. They must.
Child, the kids love Carrie.
They do.
They be loving Carrie.
They love to Carrie.
They don't.
Girl, it's that innocent role she be trying to play, girl, to the kids.
I ain't nobody innocent on. Listen. And they gonna see that this season. I ain't nobody innocent. Please get the image of me out y'all head. I ain't not innocent.
That right on up right away.
Crazy.
But no,
yeah, I'm excited about the show though. It's gonna be dope. So y'all need to stay tuned June 13th.
Yep, June 13th. So that's the season finale for United States of America. It comes on CNN. If you don't watch CNN or don't have cable, it does come on HBO Max as well. So you can catch all of that there. Ooh, now you don't think this at all.
And then following the show, we're going to have an after show.
Not that man had caught that already, child.
Did.
Chris, who are you? Like, yeah, Chris.
It comes on HBO Max. So stay tuned. Of course, we're going to continue to share it. The most important thing I'm going to highlight is even if you don't subscribe, I mean, you should be subscribing because why not? But even if you don't subscribe, share. Because the point of what we're doing is to create conversations. And not just to talk to ourselves, but talk to you. You as a viewer is part of our conversation as well. And so if you know someone that might have something to say, that wants a question answered, share with them and bring them into the fold. We're going to be talking about an array of things. Not all the time will it be trans relevant, but a lot of times there's going to be an element to that. And so, bring them into the fold, share with them, subscribe, tune in to United Shades on the 13th, like Erica had mentioned. We have a lot that's coming. I'm really excited for our season finale. Do y'all want to talk about that, or do you want to leave it as a surprise?
It's going to be a surprise.
Let's leave it as a surprise for our season finale.
Okay. I'm here for that. But yeah, so our season finale, she's going to be real cute.
We're going to do a watch party for that, right?
Yeah, we got to do a watch party for that.
Definitely going to be a watch party.
Yeah. But
you better make sure you turn on your notifications.
Period.
Like, share, subscribe.
All of our socials, you'll see them on screen. On the bottom, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok to come, Twitter to come. But yeah, you can find us on all of those socials for now. So make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing and get into all of it. It's going to be, we'll surprise you. There'll be micro content and stuff that's being released all the time. Just whatever's on our mind, we're going to talk about it. And we want you guys to talk back to us.
Yep.
Definitely.
Hope y'all enjoy.
Well, I think this has been real. I think this is a good start to season. I'm excited for what's to come. But yeah, guys, that's a wrap for me.
Yep.
All right.
Thank y'all for watching.
Tuning in to All4One. We love you guys. Be breezy.